to per se, because of some selfish interests, is not helping our dear country. We need to have a rethink. If we want to practice a true federalism, we must have a rethink about restructuring. We have been clamoring for that. Some of us who are strong advocates for good governance, we have been clamoring for that. Government is not doing anything about it. Or otherwise, the politicians will call people, just like what happened under Jonathan. The
national conference.
The national conference. Up to date, where is the report of that conference?
So the party in government now, they were the opposition back then. And I remember one of the opposition leading figures then, that's Alhaji Lai Muhammad, saying that they are not going to be a part of the national conference, that they are not going to support whatever reports that came out of that national conference. And I guess that's why we're here where we are right now. But we leave all of that to one space. And also, let's quickly look at the very much publicized Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ report. President Muhammadu Buhari as well. It was reviewed again. A white paper was released. None of those governments implemented it. Now, there's the Tinubu conversation in this, and the people are asking, how much of a banana peel with the implementation of that, Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ, and you know what that means: collapse on ministries, scraps on ministries, merge some ministries, take over some ministry, convert some agencies to department, to units. There's been constant fear. Last week Tuesday at the organized NLC nationwide protest ground at Alausa, Barrister Fᴏʟʟᴏᴡ SN, was talking, and he said, hey, over 100,000 people will lose their job if the Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ document is being implemented according to what the president wants to do. How much of a banana peel do you think this is for Mr. President implementing that particular reform paper?
You know, one thing that is common with this government, and this government have from day one, they have showcased that they are not ready for this government. And I would say, with all sign of respect to Mr. President, how can you come on day one and then you remove the fuel subsidy? It's the same mistake this government is making up to date. They are not ready. Before you go and implement something, you need to set up some status have been created, and considering the fact that the country is suffering right now economic wise, so you need to look at what is on ground. You need to set up a committee. Even the agency and the parastatals that you want to mash together, you need to ensure that you slate a meeting and set up a proper HR team, so that they will liaise between those two agencies and see what can come out of that. You cannot just go and match somebody in EFCC with ICPC and then you see that as a matter of fact, something that is common with the black superiority, is it the head of EFCC that is going to head the head of ICPC? You see all those aspects. They are not, they are in the business of forum shopping. They will go and they'll start with critics, and then they will go and implement what suits them. They are that Nigerians are well taken care of, and that is part and parcel of the responsibility of government, because the governments have failed in their primary responsibility. It is a duty of the government to create an enabling atmosphere for business to thrive in Nigeria. So once the government failed in that aspect, creating an enabling atmosphere in this sense entails you need to ensure that there is proper power supply. You need to ensure that the dollar that is skyrocketing on a daily basis, you need to see how things can balance, and many more. So I don't think that report, to an extent, and with due respect, although I agree with some activists, some commentators, and who are able to demonstrate their loyalty and commitment to our dear nation by ensuring that, the allowances, the bogus allowances that they are being entitled to right now, we need to see what can be done about that. Not for you to go and merge parastatals or agency together and then you now inflict hardship on common Nigerians whose salary is not even up to 200,000, and then somebody will go and sit at the National Assembly at a sitting. He will be running to millions. The salary of these people that you want to dismiss per annum is even enough. It cannot even equate a salary of a sitting member of the National Assembly in a month. So how will you correlate this? So we need to start from the politicians. Our leaders are very selfish. If you see what can be done so that we can put them, Nigerians should put them on a part-time basis. We should hire them. That's how it's done in other parts of the world. They should understand that this is a public service. It's not your personal property, and you must be ready to sacrifice. Otherwise, they will continue to feed on these jamboree allowances and be disturbing somebody up and down, blowing siren, disturbing somebody up and down. Where is it done? The same people that voted you, you want to come and visit them, you'll be intimidating them. Whereas these people voted you there.
Interesting direction this conversation will take, but okay. I just want us to stick with the state police conversation, but I mean, you can always trust Barrister Adams Attah. He's a public affairs analyst, human resource manager. He's a lawyer, of course. You know where the word barrister is coming in from, and we always find a way to take these situations out. But let's look at the conversation around state police. The governor of Niger State, His Excellency Governor Umar Bago, and that's one of the fears that a lot of people had expressed, that the state government or the state governors can hijack the structure of the state police. They can use it to witch hunt their opponents or this or that. The powers that be at the state level. Hence need in terms of protecting the police, especially when you look at the structure of the police coming in from the federal. You see people saying that, when there was an attack, they reached out for emergency, they said they're waiting for that from above, there's this, there's that. Let me start from an open position. I start on that. What is your
Mr. President endorsing state police? And I have my reason, because of the fact that it's not by how you have them, by numbers you have them, but how effective are they working? We already have a federal police, and we're not running a true federalism in this part of the world. We're not running a core federal system in Nigeria. And if by any opportunity we give power back to the states, most of these governors, they brand themselves as the chief security officer of the state. So therefore presupposes that they can actually follow the army, they can follow the police to lead war in their state or any insurgency in their state. That is established. Number two, if you establish a state police now, it will not work in this part of the world, and I will tell you why.
Go on.
I will give about 4 scenarios that it will not work. Like you rightly said, 1, it will promote tyranny and anarchy. The governors will be lords to themselves. 1. Then number 2, it would also promote discrimination. Just like what we experience right in Nigeria right now. How are you going to employ? What is employ? Who is now going to submit to the other person? I will go and report you at the state police because I'm a Lagosian, and then you go and you are from another state, and then you go and report me at the federal police in the same state. So who is now going to submit to the other person? Then number 4, it will also affect the investigation. They have recommended one of the party for prosecution, and then the federal police in the same states, who the other party went to report to, is now saying, the federal police is now saying, no, this matter is not due for that person. So a lot of factors. By the time you leave this power, you give this power back to the state, it's not going to work. Is it somebody, the immediate governor of Rivers State, or those tyrants all over the federation, or Yaya Bello, the immediate governor of Kogi State, or they lack respect for constituted authority? How will you on earth go and demolish a whole building built with the fund of the taxpayers? In this hard economy, you are going to invest more billions to rebuild that place, knowing fully well that federation, how all that the state are built for more than 3 to 4 decades, how are you going to harness them in River State? Let me not even delve into that, but it's important that we speak to the system. This is the right time to speak to the system, because we can't fight them, but we are going to use this forum to continue to speak until these people do the needful.
Now, you've given all of the risks in state policing. You talked about, you also submitted to the fear of the Niger State governor, saying that it could be hijacked, it could be controlled as a witch hunting tool and all of that. You talked about the recruitment structure. You talked about there could be discrimination, ego and power play. these are all of the risks involved in establishment of the state police. But let's look at is not answerable to the governor of the state and is only answerable to the inspector general of police, or the fact that when there are emergencies, the governor would have to still reach out to this one, the whole bureaucracy within the command system, issues that people had also brought up that if we can domesticate our police structure, if people that was born and bred in Ogun State, for instance, a thoroughbred Yoruba man being posted to Jigawa, for instance, to police a community that language barrier challenges, there's settlement, there's discrimination, maybe that community already have a bias against a certain tribe and they don't welcome you, all of the risk involved in establishing it. What about the rewards in this?
Yes, from what you have said, if you compare the advantage and